Hey, what's up? I'm Winston from Parkway Drive, and you're watching Heavy Consequence on Consequence of Sound.
Coming off this tour with Killswitch Engage,
Yeah.
co-headlining tour. Can you just talk about like how that went, co-headlining with those guys?
Real damn good. No, it's been a really, really good tour. Like, we've spent the last, I think, almost a year with them. Like, we took them out in Australia and Europe, and then we've been doing the co-headliner here, and they're such a legendary band with so many jams, and they're such awesome dudes. And like, we got history with Adam. He recorded our first 2 albums as well, so it's been a dream, to be honest. And like, this tour, so many sold out shows, so many insane shows. It's like, it's hard to not go, it was awesome, because that's kind of what it was. It's just been really, really good every single night. Yeah.
And the latest album is Reverence.
Yeah.
And it marked a bit of a shift in sound
Yeah.
for Parkway Drive. Can you talk about going in a kind of a new direction and the importance of a band kind of evolving over the years?
It depends. It depends on what the band wants to be and who they are. Like, that's the thing. Like, there's so many bands that have such a staple sound that they stick with because they love it. And then there's plenty of bands who evolve. And for us, like, the music's always been a reflection of who we are and what we enjoy playing. And the evolution has come about simply because who we are has grown. And also, like, you play that many shows that after a certain amount of time you find yourself wanting to do something different because you've grown comfortable in what you already have, kind of thing. So for us, it's always been about like pushing out and pushing boundaries, just because it's exciting, man. It's exciting to go into the studio or write a song where you're like, this sounds like us, but also it doesn't sound like us. And that's for us, it's a really fun place to exist, because sound is like an infinite spectrum, and to be able to tap into so many different layers of it and then craft that into something that represents you it's awesome, man.
I think we're seeing in particularly in what's been called metalcore in general, we're seeing bands kind of going into new directions, whether it's you maybe going more heavy metal, Bring Me the Horizon going almost more pop.
More pop,
like, it's incredible. You know, someone who has been around for a while in that genre, what do you think is metalcore itself at a crossroads, do you think?
It's like the question I get asked so much. It was like, is it dead? Where is it? What's going to happen with it? I think it's just like anything. Like, I think the idea of... I think it's interesting, the fact that it is now something that people see as a staple sound, to the point where people, when you do something different, people like can make a judgment over whether or not that is classed as metalcore or not. Because when we grew up starting this, that whole term didn't even exist. We were just like hardcore kids playing metal music, and that was it. And then people were like, no, metalcore's gonna die. And now it's like around, and so you say the word metalcore and people know what it is. So I think it's at the point where evolution happens because not only personal preference, but saturation. Like, if you play the same, like if you mimic a band for a certain amount of time, it becomes something which people have heard too much. So people find themselves reaching for something new. And I think when you talk about like us and like Bring Me the Horizon, we've both been around for a similar amount of time, and I'm pretty sure for those guys would go in a similar vein of thought of like, we want to create stuff that excites us. And for them, it's a very different direction of sonics, but it's probably coming from a very similar place of evolution.
I just wanted to ask about one song in particular, the song Shadowboxing.
Yeah.
Just very powerful song with a big build-up.
Yeah.
I just want to...
It's all build-up, man. That's it.
It's pretty cool. Can you talk about that song just kind of a little bit lyrically and musically?
Yeah, like the whole idea of that was to wrong foot everyone at every turn. It was to take like the lightest possible sound we could for the band, and marry it with like the heaviness, and keep like that push going backwards and forwards, so you constantly didn't know where it landed. And the whole idea of that was to do everything you didn't expect from the band and put it into one song. And that's kind of lyrically what the entire theme is as well. Like, with anything you do in life, you're going to have people trying to tell you, no, you should do it this way. And being someone that puts out a creative like work, you're always going to have someone go, that's wrong. And for us, wrong doesn't really come into the equation. Like, Parkway is what Parkway is, and it's a bunch of people creating something which they feel is a representation of themselves. So basically the lyrics were exactly that. We do what we want. This is it. You can't tell us where to go or how to get there. The only people that control the destiny of this band is the people who create the music, and we're happy with that. Like, I'm stoked for that people love the band, but at the end of the day, like, me being happy with what we create is the number one thing. Cool. So yeah, that was what it was about.
Yeah, awesome. Now Reverence is just over a year old.
Yeah.
Have you been so busy on tour, or are the creative juices already flowing for the next work?
It's going to be a while before music comes. Like, the creativity is there, but to be honest, like, the last few years have been so intense creating music. Like, we put out Ire, that exploded, and we rolled straight into writing for Reverence, and that went, like, it's just been a whirlwind, man. It's been a whirlwind, and we really do. There's been no going backwards in the creative side of things, but we really do want to give ourselves time to create something which can be 100% fleshed out to all of the potential which we can see. We want to be able to give ourselves time to really know what we can do and reach that vision, because at this point in time, like, we created Reverence and people are like, whoa, this is going all over the place. But I really think that this is the start for us rather than like the end and we're just going to work around these sounds. I really want to see what we can do with it.